Hello, my dear students. I welcome you all on behalf of JK Shah classes in this wonderful revision lectures for Inter CA November 2021. I am Professor Abbas Ali Nandolia. By qualification, I am Chartered Accountant and working with the JK Shah classes since more than 5 years. I was JK Shah classes student and after becoming CA, directly joined Wonderful Coaching Institute, JKSC only. Now, my dear students, what is the main agenda of this particular series? It's very simple. Many a time students think that what we should refer sir before one day of the exam, and therefore we are here with the revision lectures. Here what we will do, the entire topic or the subject you already know, you have studied in detail. Okay, here just our objective is to clarify small and important concept and just to tell you what is the important point in each and every question which is there in JK Shah classes textbook. So those who are JK Shah classes student, they will get all the solutions because they have already prepared in the classroom. And the non JK Shah classes students, don't worry my dear students, can I say at least you will get better clarity over the concept. Is it clear? Which will help in tackling the questions which will come in the exam. So without wasting much time, on the screen you can see my topic of discussion is hire purchase and installment selling. Hire purchase and installment selling. The topic is there in group 1, paper 1. If you pay your attention, it will give you 4 to 10 in the exam. I am very conservative, so taking 4 to 10, otherwise normally 6 to 10. Is that clear? Sir, what is the important or what is the meaning of hire purchase, and sir, what are the important areas which we should cover before the exam? For that, on the screen you can see my wordings. I am taking one simple example to give you clarity over hire purchase system. See the example. Mr. A wants to purchase machinery costing rupees 1 lakh. But the only problem is what? He is having only rupees 20,000. Correct? He is having only rupees 20,000. So what he will do now? Mr. A approaches Mr. B. So he wants to purchase machine worth rupees 1 lakh. Correct? Having only 20,000, he approached Mr. B and expressed his desire that he wants to purchase the machine but having very limited amount of money. So Mr. B suggested something. What is the suggestion of Mr. B, my dear students? The suggestion is on the screen. Pay just 20,000, the money which you have, pay that much to me. Okay, and take the possession of the machinery. Pay 20,000 and take the possession. Ownership will remain with me only. Is it clear? Pay 20,000, take the possession. Use the machine. Generate the profit. And slowly and gradually in the future pay the amount, and in my example 5 equal annual installment of 18,000 each. Okay, so what is the suggestion of Mr. B? Pay rupees 20,000 right now and pay remaining amount in 5 installment of 18,000 each. Let me summarize everything in numerical way. If you see on the screen the numerical system. In my example, what is the cost of the machinery, my dear students? 1 lakh. Upfront payment, that is spot payment, 20,000. So the remaining outstanding cost of the machine, 80,000. Now this 80,000 I have to pay in 5 installments of 18,000 each. So I can say 5 years. 18,000. So in 5 years I have to pay per annum 18,000. So 18,000 into 5, 90,000. So use your brain, my dear students, and answer. For 80,000 rupees, I am paying 90,000. It means I am making some extra payment of rupees 10,000, additional payment. So I am introducing 4 technical terms to you. First is what? Cash price. My dear students, cost of the asset is known as what? Cash price. Spot payment which you paid upfront, it is known as what? Down payment. Which you will pay in 5 annual installment, which you will pay in 5 annual installment, or rather I can say which you will pay in 5 years. 18,000 per annum is known as what? Installments. And the extra amount which you are paying is known as what? Interest. My dear students, so 4 terms before you all. Cash price is clear, that is cost. Down payment means immediate spot payment. Installment means which you will pay over a period, and additional amount which you will pay, that is known as what? Interest. Okay. So with this, I can derive one more terminology before you all. What is the hire purchase price then? See, if I have money, I will pay immediately 1 lakh rupees. I will take possession and ownership both. But having limited resources, and hence I will make payment over a period, then I have to logically pay some more amount. So my dear students, tell me, what is the hire purchase price then? It is nothing but cash price plus interest. Tell me, what is the cash price? 1 lakh, that is cost of the asset. If I have money right now, I will pay 1 lakh and game is over. But I don't have money, so I have to pay some additional amount of rupees 10,000. So my hire purchase price would be 1,10,000. There is one more way to calculate the hire purchase price, my dear students, and that is nothing but down payment plus total installments. Down payment plus total installments. Tell me how much you paid upfront? 20,000. And total installment you paid over a period of 5 years, 18,000 per annum. So anyway, this comes to 1,10,000. So to find out the hire purchase price, there are 2 formulas you can say. One is cash price plus interest. Another one is down payment plus total installment. My dear students, after these 5 terminologies, I can say the above situation is known as hire purchase system. The system is known as what? Hire purchase system. What will happen in hire purchase system? As a vendor, I will give you the machinery. My dear students, take the possession, use it. I am just giving the possession, not the ownership. Sir, then when you will transfer ownership? My dear students, when you will pay your last installment at the end of 5th year, as soon as I will get my total amount, I will transfer the ownership. So the special case is known as what? Hire purchase system. Now in hire purchase system, we have to name buyer and seller properly. You cannot say buyer and seller. You have to use specific wording. The buyer is known as hire purchase buyer, and the seller is known as hire purchase seller, or you can say vendor. Is it clear? So don't use word buyer and seller. Use words hire purchase buyer and hire purchase vendor. Okay. So in a nutshell, meaning of hire purchase is special type of sale. In this sale, ownership of the asset remains with hire purchase vendor. Ownership will remain with me. Is it clear? Whereas possession of the asset with buyer, possession will remain with you. Use it. Correct. Produce the product, sell in the market, generate the profit, and pay my installments. When you will pay last installment to me, check, the ownership would be transferred from vendor to buyer only on payment of last installment. Is it clear? So this unique case is known as what? Hire purchase system. What we are going to cover academically in this particular chapter. Total 4 topics we are going to cover in this particular chapter. Number 1 is what? Calculation of interest included in each installment. And to give you the summary, I have prepared one table. We will quickly discuss the table. Just give me 2 more minutes. First, understand what we are going to cover. So first point is what? Calculation of interest included in each installment. Second point is what? Accounting in the books of HP vendor and HP buyer. Third one is what? Accounting in case of repossession. In that, part A is in the books of buyer, part B is in the books of vendor, and the last part is accounting in case of interest suspense method. So 4 things we are going to cover: calculation of interest, accounting in the books of vendor, HP vendor and HP buyer, accounting in case of repossession, and final accounting in case of interest suspense method. All the 4 topics we will cover, and even I will give you the reference of the question from the JK Shah classes textbook as well. Okay, lastly we will discuss this difference between hire purchase and installment system, but not now. Now straight away come to calculation of interest included in each installment. If you see, I have given you here reference. Total 9 question you can answer if you study this table before one day of the exam. In this table, total 5 situations are there. And you have to just check 2 things. Cash price is there or not, and number 2, rate of interest is there or not. Okay, see on the screen. Situation number 1, cash price is there and the rate of interest is there. Cash price is there and the rate of interest is there. Then what solution you will do in the exam? Prepare the table. Sir, what is the meaning of table? Sir, what is the meaning of table? See on the screen, this type of table you have to prepare. On the screen, you can see the table. Very simple table. If you are JK Shah classes student or non-JKSC students, in everybody's book, you will find this particular table if you have studied this hire purchase chapter in detailed early. Okay, the table always starts with cash price. What is the meaning of cash price? Cost of the asset. Is it clear? In this example, the cost is 1,49,000. Okay, from this cost, you have to subtract the down payment 40,000. From the cash price, if you subtract the down payment, you will get outstanding cash price. Okay, now this cash price you will use for the whole year. So for the whole year, you have to charge interest. So add interest, then less installment. Is that clear? Okay, then again in the second year, add interest, less installment. Okay, in the third year, add interest, less installment. When you will pay your last installment, can I say your final answer would be nil? Okay, one simple point would like to discuss. Children, when you will pay your installment, try and understand the thing. First year interest amount is 5450 and you are paying installment of 40,000 rupees. So please remember, whenever you will pay your installment, always you will pay first towards interest and then balance towards principal. You are getting my point? Always remember, when you will pay your installment, first the vendor will subtract the amount towards interest and thereafter will settle remaining amount towards principal. Is it clear? So this is the table which is very simple. It starts with cash price less down payment. You will get outstanding. In that, add interest less installment, add interest less installment, add interest less installment. Make sure that at the end of the installment payment, your account must settle, that is, you must get nil at the end. Clear? So this is the table which you have to prepare. So when cash price and the rate of interest both given, then you have to prepare the table just now I showed you on the screen. Correct? For this you can refer question number 1 of classwork. Sir, which question number 1? I am giving reference of JK Shah classes textbook. I am giving reference of JK Shah classes textbook. Is it clear? See question number 1. Just check question number 1. Rate of interest is given. Cash price is given. When both the things are given, then you have to prepare the table and fill the table. That's it. Over. Next set is what? Second one says what? When the cash price is given but the rate of interest is not given. Cash price is there but the rate of interest is not there. What you will do? Check the solution. Find out total interest. Find out total interest and allocate in outstanding balance ratio. What is the meaning of outstanding balance ratio? Outstanding higher purchase price ratio. Is it clear? Outstanding higher purchase price ratio. On the screen, if you want to see, just check here. Question number 2. I have given you the reference. Okay, check. If you still want to see question number 2 of classwork and question number 2 of classwork from the JK Shah classes textbook, you can refer. Okay. What you will do in this case, children, you have to find out total interest 11,000 and that you have to allocate in which ratio? In outstanding balance ratio. In outstanding balance ratio. I have given you the reference, question number 2 and question number 10. So in textbook, please check question number 2. They have given cash price, but the interest rate is not there. So what you will do? Find out total interest, allocate in outstanding balance ratio. Even please check question number 10. Even please check question number 10. In question number 10, they have given you cash price 86,000, but interest is not given. Interest is not given. But yeah, you can very well calculate total interest, that is nothing but higher purchase price minus cash price. Tell me, what is the higher purchase price given in question? 1 lakh minus 86,000 cash price. So in all you have to pay 14,000 interest. Okay, 14,000 interest. This 14,000 interest you have to allocate over number of years in which ratio? Outstanding balance ratio. Is it clear? So reference I have given, but can I say this table will be very useful one day before the exam. So there are so many situations we want everything at one place. Refer this table and get your query solved. Okay. Third situation says what, my dear students? Many a time in the exam this situation comes where cash price is not there but the rate of interest is there. Cash price is not there but the rate of interest is there. What you will do now? Cash price is not there but the rate of interest is there. See the solution. Prepare table. Do you know how to prepare table? Yes sir, just now you showed. Table always starts with cash price minus down payment. Then in the first year, add interest less installment, add interest less installment. Correct? This particular formula you have to follow for number of years till you pay your installment. Is that clear? Okay, so prepare table, fill in reverse way. Prepare table but fill in reverse way. So prepare your table in normal way. After preparing the table, fill the table in reverse way. Sir, how? Just show one sample on the screen, please check. This is your table. This is your table. Can I say it starts with cash price less down payment, add interest less installment, add interest less installment, add interest less installment. At the end the amount must be nil and you have to fill this table in reverse way. Correct? Let this be 100, this is 5, this is 105. Is that clear? And you have to do cross multiplication. Correct? So my dear students, try and understand the basic objective is quick revision. Just to tell you, my dear students, what you should see in the solution. If you don't find time to see the whole solution, whole chapter, at least just check this much, that prepare the table, fill in reverse way. This point will help while writing the answer in exam. Is it clear? Okay. So what you will do when the cash price is not there but the rate of interest is there? When the cash price is not there but the rate of interest is there, what you will do, my dear students? Prepare the table, fill in reverse way, fill in reverse way. And for that I have given many references. Question number 3, question number 5, question number 7, question number 8. Is that clear? Many references. So you can refer this. If you see over here in the question, just check question number 3. In question number 3, rate of interest, there is mistake. Rate of interest is 5% per annum. So rate of interest is there but the cash price is not there. What you will do? Prepare the table, fill in reverse way. The next reference is what? Question number 5. Just check question number 5, my dear students. In this case as well, interest rate is given but the cash price is not given. What you will do? Prepare the table, fill in reverse way. The only important point in this is what, my dear students, 3 installments are there, but at the interval of 2 years you have to pay. Whereas rate of interest is per annum. It means what? It means what? You will pay installment after 2 years. After 2 years. After 2 years, whereas interest will be calculated per annum. So in the first year, interest will be calculated, but you will not pay installment. In the second year, again, interest will be calculated, and at the end of second year, you will pay your installment. Third year, interest calculation. Fourth year, interest calculation. At the end of fourth year, you will pay installment, because installment will be paid at the interval of 2 years. At the interval of 2 years. Is that clear? After question number 5, question 7. If you check this question 7, again over here the rate of interest 10%. Rate of interest is there, but the cash price is not there. What you will do? Prepare the table, fill in reverse way. Game is over. And one more question, that is question number 8. If you see this question number 8, again over here, interest 10% per annum, but the cash price is not there. What you will do? Prepare the table, fill in reverse way. The only important point in this question is what? Interest is calculated at half yearly rest. Is it clear? Interest calculated at half yearly rest. Okay. So please take care while solving this particular sum. With this, third situation is over. 3, 5, 7, 8 of classwork. Reference is given. Come to the next situation number 4, where cash price is not there, but the rate of interest is there, and based on that annuity value is available. Do you know the meaning of annuity value? You have already studied in one of the paper in Inter CA financial management paper, annuity factor, so carefully. Where it will be used to find out the present value of the future inflow. Annuity factor must be used. Is it clear? So likewise, if cash price is not given but the rate of interest is there, and based on that annuity factor is given, then what you will do? Find out the total cash price. What is the meaning of cash price? Cash price is nothing but the present value of any machine, any asset, and then prepare table like question number 1. Simple. Okay, so for this question number 4 of classwork, you can refer, you can see on the screen question number 4 of classwork. Just check. Rate of interest is there, annuity factor is there, 4.33. Please, you will pay 60,000 rupees for 5 years. So 60,000 in first year, 60,000 in second year, 60,000 in third year. Likewise, for 5 years you will pay 60, 60, 60. So tell me, in all 5 years you have paid how much in total? 60,000 into 5, that is 3 lakh rupees. But that 3 lakh rupees you will pay over a period of time. Over a period of time. Now I am saying, what is the present value of this 3 lakh rupees which you will pay over a period of time? That you will get it with the help of annuity factor 4.33. So my dear students, present value is as good as cash price. This 60,000 rupees you will pay over a period of 5 years, multiplied by 4.33. if you will do, you will get present value of this future installment, and in this you have to just add a down payment. You will get your cash price. After getting the cash price, rate of interest is there. Prepare the table, fill the table, and that's all. Please, next one, question number 6. It is the reference for last situation number 5. Question number 6 of classwork, where both the things are not there. Cash price is not there, rate of interest is not there. What students will do? Student will say, sir, we will write notes. Since both the things are not given, we can't solve sum. Please give us full marks. Arey, it should not be like that, my dear students. If both the things are not given, then you have to form linear equation with the assumption that cash price is constant in each installment. Cash price is constant in each installment. Is it clear? Okay, sir, please show the sample format once. Please check on the screen question number 6. So here if you see, you have to form linear equation. They are the linear equation. Okay. Tell me, whenever you will pay installment, in installment you have to make payment for two things. Number one, for principal you have to pay something, and for interest you have to pay something. Principal is as good as cash price. Principal amount means what? Cash price. Okay. So when both the things are not given, assume same cash price in each installment. Same cash price in each installment. And if your cash price is same in each installment, then your ratio of interest would be 3 to 1. Ratio of interest would be 3 to 1, and therefore in the first year you will pay 3 times interest, in the second year you will pay 2 times interest, and in the third year you will pay only interest. Is it clear? And one point you already know, my dear students, in the beginning your interest element would be more in the installment, and as and when time passes, slowly and gradually the element of interest reduces. Is it clear? Interest element reduces as and when you will start making installment payment over a period. So more interest you have to pay at the beginning, and at the end you have to just pay less interest. So interest will be more at the beginning and less interest you have to pay at the end. Hence the ratio of interest, if both the things are not given, assume cash price is same. If cash price is same in each installment, then your ratio would be 3 to 1. Okay. So with this, my dear students, the table is over. The table is very important. This table will give you entire knowledge. Try and understand the full knowledge you are getting. Sir, till date we were struggling that so many situations are there to calculate the interest included in each installment. Now the thing is simple. 5 situation, 9 questions, and the game over. Correct. I have given you the reference from the JK Shah classes textbook. Okay. And I hope you will give your level best to revise this particular stuff well. So check over here question number 6 in the JKSC material. Just check question 6. They have not given cash price. They have not given interest, and still they are asking calculate the interest included in each installment. You have to assume cash price is same in each installment, hence the ratio of interest would be 3:2:1. So my dear students, out of 4 points in hire purchase, first point is over, that is how to calculate interest included in each installment, and effectively I have given you the references as well, which you can refer before the exam, okay, for this 5 situation. Now the next part of discussion is what? Accounting in case of HP buyer and HP vendor. For HP buyer you can refer question number 7 of classwork, and for HP vendor you can refer question number 1 of classwork. Slowly, just check question number 7 once. Just check question number 7 once. Dobson Limited, he is HP buyer. So at the end what they are asking? Show the necessary account in the books of Dobson Limited. So in the books of buyer, how you will do the accounting? And if you check your question number 1, my dear students, they have said prepare necessary account in the books of HP vendor. So how you will do accounting in the books of HP vendor? So what I am saying, refer JKSC textbook for the journal entries. So come here on the screen, please check. They are the journal entries. Correct. Hire purchase buyer, what entry he will pass, and hire purchase vendor, what entry he will pass. First focus on hire purchase buyer. Everybody tell me, before I just discuss these entries, tell me, I am hire purchase vendor and you are buyer. You would like to purchase machinery from me. I am dealing in machinery on daily basis. Okay, I purchase machinery, I sell machinery in the market. Clear? So I am effectively machinery vendor in the market. So for me, machinery is goods, my dear students. I am dealing on daily basis in that. But if you purchase machinery, then it is asset for you. So I hope one thing is clear. The fellow who deals regularly in the machine, for him it is goods. It means for hire purchase vendor, that is goods, and for hire purchase buyer, machinery is asset. Is it clear? So think from buyer point of view first. You are buyer, you have purchased the machinery, so first entry you will pass asset purchased. So the entry would be asset account debit to money payable to vendor. So check on the screen, asset to vendor, you will pass this entry with the cash price. Now after passing this asset to vendor, immediately you will pay down payment. In your pocket you are having 20,000, so you will pay that 20,000 to vendor. So entry from the buyer's point of view, cash goes out credit and the vendor would be debited. Okay, so first two entries will be passed at beginning of the year, and now remaining four entries will come at end of the year. Please, everybody, tell me. So you have acquired the asset, you have paid the down payment. Now year end will come. At the end of year one, what you will do? Interest due entry you will pass. Now tell me, interest is an expense for HP buyer because you have to pay interest. So interest is an expense. So interest account debit, and it is payable to whom? Buyer. So interest to it is payable to whom? Vendor. So interest to vendor is the journal entry. Okay. After passing the interest entry, you will pay installment to whom? Vendor. So from your point of view, entry would be HP vendor to cash bank. Now you have acquired the asset, so at the end of the year you will charge depreciation. Clear? So depreciation entry would be depreciation to asset, and finally at the year end, two expenses from the buyer's point of view, interest expense and the depreciation expense will be charged to profit and loss, that is PL, to depre to interest. Clear? So two entries at beginning of the year. Number one, asset purchase, down payment paid, and four entries at the year end, at the first year end, second year end, third year end. These four entries will come, that is interest due, which is expense for you, installment paid, depre charged, and expenses charged to profit and loss. And for this hire purchase buyer, I have already given you the reference, question number 7 of classwork. Okay, Dobson's Limited. Now what about HP vendor? For this you can refer question number 1 of classwork. Okay, now here think from my point of view. Now I am vendor, I will sell machinery to you, so from my point of view it is goods. So I will pass normal sales entry, that is buyer to sales. So my first entry would be buyer to sales at cash price. What is the meaning of cash price? Cost of the asset, we have already discussed. Now I will receive down payment from you, so when I will get the money, cash comes in debit to buyer. Okay, at the year end, interest due entry will come. Interest is income for me, so interest will be credited and receivable from buyer, so buyer to interest. Clear? Then I will receive the installment, cash comes in debit to buyer. I will not charge any entry for the depreciation. Why should I charge? Why should I charge? Can I say it is goods for me, and on goods depre will not come. On asset, buyer will charge. Is it clear? And finally, interest income will be transferred to profit and loss account. Clear? So this is what accounting in the books of HP buyer and HP vendor, and along with that I have given you the references as well. You can refer question 7 of classwork, you can refer question 1 of classwork. So with this, my dear students, even the second part in the hire purchase chapter is over. Okay. Now the third point of discussion is what? Sir, accounting in case of repossession. This is something which is very important. Normally in the exam you will get some based on this repossession case. What is the meaning of repossession? To take back the goods. Okay. If the buyer will not pay the amount, what vendor will do then? Vendor will take back his goods forcefully he will take back the goods. That is known as what? Repossession. Why the repossession option is available with the vendor, that you know? Because in hire purchase system, I will just give possession to you, not the ownership. Not the ownership. So if you will not pay any installment, ownership is with me. I can take my goods at any point of time, and hence the repossession option is available in case of hire purchase system. Okay, now how you will do the accounting in the books of HP buyer first we will discuss. So my point number A is what? In the books of HP buyer. Now there are two situations. Okay, there are two situations. Number one, default happened in current year but the repossession in the next year. What is the meaning of default? Buyer didn't pay the amount of installment. Okay, so default in current year but the repossession in next year. And what is the second situation over here? Default and repossession both in the same year. Okay, I have given you the reference on the screen. Please check. Question number 11 of classwork you can refer for default in current year, repossession in next year. And question number 12 of classwork you can refer for default and repossession in same year. Okay, now first just check the situation given in question 11. Please check. If default in current year, repossession in next year, you have to simply follow 5 steps. My step number 1 is what? Calculate the agreed value. Now, who will calculate this agreed value? This will be calculated by vendor, that is me. I will calculate. And the information will be given in question, that how to calculate the agreed value. Is it clear? Let's take a simple example. The worth of the goods from my point of view 100. So from your point of view, the asset value is 100. Is it clear? Now, my dear students, try and understand the example carefully so that these 5 steps will be clear in your mind. 100 rupees is the value of asset from your point of view, and 100 rupees is value of goods. For me, I will say goods, you will say asset. For simplicity, now we will say asset only. Okay, the value of the asset is 100 rupees. You are charging depreciation at the rate of 25%. Is it clear? Okay. Now, when I will come for the repossession, I will say I will not consider 25%. I will consider 40% depreciation. Is it clear? So, from my point of view, the agreed value would be 100 rupees asset value. I am saying 40% depreciation. So, 100 minus 40. From my point of view, the value of asset is 60. But from your point of view, my dear students, you are charging 25% depreciation. So 100 minus 25, from your point of view, the value is 75. So try and understand. The agreed value from the point of view of vendor is 60. I am saying I will take my goods back at the value 60. That is after considering 40% depreciation. But my dear students, you are saying, sir, but from our point of view, the WDV is 75. I'll say, I don't care. For me, the agreed value is 60. You are saying, sir, but the WDV is 75. So try and understand. First point is what? Calculate the agreed value from the point of view of vendor. The information will be given in question. For me, the agreed value is 60. So step number 1 is over. Step number 2, WDV of the asset taken over. Tell me, for you, the WDV is 75 because you are charging 25% depreciation. So use your brain. 75 rupees asset, I am forcefully taking over at the valuation of 60. 75 rupees asset taking over at 60. Can I say you are incurring loss now? You are saying, sir, the value is 75. You are taking at 60. I am getting loss. What should I do then? I will take at 60 rupees. So definitely in repossession, buyer will incur loss. So my third step is what? Calculate loss. It will always be step 2 minus step 1. That is, can I say the agreed value is 60, the WDV is 75. So you are saying, sir, from our point of view, the value is 75. I am saying, no, my agreed value is 60. So you are incurring loss of rupees 15. Correct. So when you will default, you know that you are going to incur 15 rupees loss. You know that you are going to incur 15 rupees loss, and therefore, my dear students, you will create what? Provision for that particular loss. As per which concept? As per conservatism concept. What is the meaning of conservatism concept? Conservatism says that make provision for losses, because when you will default, you know that you are going to incur 15 rupees loss, but the repossession will happen in the next year. So in the current year, you have to create provision. So the provision entry would be PL to provision, and how much provision you will create? 15 rupees, the loss which you are going to incur. Is it clear? So on a safer side, you have created the provision. Now repossession entry in the next year. What entry you will pass in the next year, my dear students? Think and then answer. From the buyer point of view, I will come. Buyer, come on, give me the asset, because you have not paid the installment. I will forcefully take that particular asset. Think from buyer point of view. Buyer says, goodbye asset, goodbye, asset goes out. Can I say asset goes out at WDV? What is the WDV? 75. Against this asset, the vendor account will get settled, but vendor account will get settled at agreed value 60. And hence you are saying, oh my god, asset goes out 75, but the vendor account settled at 60. So can I say 15 rupees is loss, and for which you have already created the provision in the last year. Is it clear? Okay, so total 5 steps you have to follow when default in the current year but the repossession in the next year. 5 steps includes agreed value from the point of view of vendor. Okay, WDV from the point of view of buyer. Always buyer will incur loss. Buyer will create provision as per conservatism concept. And in the next year, when the asset repossessed, on the date of repossession, the following entry will come. That is, vendor account settled with 60, asset goes out 75, and hence incurred loss of 15, for which we have already created the provision. Okay, for these steps you can refer question number 11 of classwork. Okay, 11 of classwork. Now in question number 12, in situation which says what? Default and repossession both in the same year. Now tell me, if both will happen in the same year, then in that case, no need to create provision, because when you will create provision? When in the next year repossession happens. So in the current year you have to create provision. But if default and repossession both in the same year, no need to create provision. Just your step number 1, that is what? Step number 1 is what, my dear students? Agreed value. Step number 2, WDV. Step number 3, loss, and directly then pass the repossession entry. Asset goes out with the WDV 75, against which vendor account will be settled at rupees 60, and hence 15 rupees loss directly charged to profit and loss account. Is it clear? Directly charged to profit and loss account. So for these 2 situations, I have given you the reference. Question number, you can see on the screen, question number 12. First question number 11, and this is your question number 12. Is that clear? So both the sums are very simple if you refer just this theory carefully. What you will do in case of repossession. Is that clear? Okay. Now the last question number 13, it is nothing but it is repossession case only, but in the books of HP vendor. HP vendor, tell me, Ashok acquired from Real Aid. Ashok acquired, he is HP buyer and Real Aid HP vendor. And at the end, please check, they are saying show the ledger as would appear in Real Aid. It means you have to prepare ledgers in the books of HP vendor. So what you will do in case of HP vendor, I have recorded everything on the screen. Please check part B. If they ask in the exam, Prepare the ledgers in case of repossession in the books of HP vendor. Prepare two ledgers. Number one is what? HP buyer, which is very simple. And number second is what? Goods repossessed account. Is it clear? Goods repossessed account. You can see on the screen, my dear students, when you will repossess the goods. So goods comes to you. Is it clear? So goods account debit side, you have to write to hire purchase buyer. Okay, let's take an example. You have repossessed the goods at rupees 100, but the fair value in the market is 80. One more time, shall I repeat? You have repossessed at 100, but the fair value is rupees 80. So can I say 20 rupees is valuation loss? So opposite side you have to write down by PL, loss on valuation. 100 rupees repossession, goods repossessed minus 20. So 80 rupees is the fair value. Now when you repossess the goods was in defective condition and hence you have incurred some repair expense. So when you will incur the repair expense, can I say your value of goods will increase? So the journal entry would be goods account debit, to cash goes out. So see on the debit side you will find to cash bank repairs. Correct. So the fair value is 80. Let's take an example. 10 rupees is what? Repair expense. So 80 plus 10, 90 rupees. This 90 rupees goods now you will sell in the market. I would say resell in the market. Resell word is accurate because primarily the goods sold to you, then repossessed. Now I will resell these goods in the market. So 90 rupees goods I will resell at 110. So when you will resell the goods, your journal entry would be cash comes in debit, to goods goes out. So see on the credit side I have recorded by cash bank, that is resale. Now on resale, I will get profit or loss. So in my case, 90 rupees goods sold at 110. So 20 rupees profit will be recognized on debit side. If there is loss, then it will be recognized credit side. Is it clear? So my dear students, with this, can I say we have completed goods repossession concept, how you will deal in hire purchase buyer and how you will deal with deal in the books of hire purchase vendor. I have given you the appropriate references as well. Question number 11, 12 and 13. 11, 12 and 13. Is it clear? Okay. Now, the last part of discussion in hire purchase chapter is what, my dear students? Accounting in case of interest suspense method. Accounting in case of interest suspense method. Here I can give you the reference. You can refer question number 4 of classwork from the JK Shah classes textbook. Okay, and for the theory, of course, you have to refer JKSC textbook. First of all, try and understand the meaning of interest suspense method. Then I will show you the theory in JKSC textbook as well. Tell me, what is the meaning of interest suspense method? Under this method, the entire interest will be recognized at the time of sale only. That is at beginning only. The total interest which you will pay over a period of 5 years or 10 years over a period of installments. The total interest you will recognize at beginning only in special account named as interest suspense account. Is it clear? Now this interest suspense account you will show in the balance sheet, and at the end of each year small amount as per the calculation you will transfer in profit and loss. Correct. So if you are thinking from buyer's point of view, so buyer will recognize total interest expense at beginning only, and at the end of each year small portion he will transfer to the profit and loss. And if you think from vendor point of view, vendor will record total interest income at beginning of the accounting year in special account named as interest suspense, and at the end of each year a small portion would be transferred to profit and loss credit side. Is it clear? Okay. Now this theory you will find in JKSC material here. Interest suspense method. So just check the theory. What we have written: under normal accounting, interest is debited to HP customer. Normally, when interest is due, Correct. So for you, for buyer, interest is an expense, debit. 2, money payable to vendor. And for vendor, interest is income. So interest will be credited and buyer will be debited. That is, customer will be debited. Okay. So normally we debit interest and we credit customer. Correct. Normally we debit interest. V means what? Hire purchase buyer. Hire purchase buyer will debit interest, will credit vendor, and vendor will credit interest and debit customer. But when it becomes due, however, under interest suspense method, total interest debited to hire purchase customer at the time of delivery of asset. Correct. When we will deliver the asset, total interest I will debit, and with the help of special account, interest suspense. Correct. Just for simple understanding, we'll take example. In the books of HP vendor, try and understand. The cost of the asset is rupees 100 and the interest which I am going to receive over a period of time is rupees 20. Simple example, and 5 years agreement. So 100 rupees is cost, 20 rupees interest I will recover over a period of 5 years. Now what you will do in the interest suspense method? Think from vendor point of view. Vendor will transfer the goods. Correct. So for vendor, hire purchase buyer debit to sales. So I will record sales at cash price, that is cost of the goods 100. Correct. I will recognize total interest. I will recognize total interest of 20. Interest is income. So total interest I will recognize and I will transfer to special account suspense. So with this, hire purchase buyer will be debited with higher purchase price 120. Correct. So please try and understand. Normally, hire purchase buyer to sales we record at cash price. But if question deliberately says that please follow interest suspense method, deliberately says please follow interest suspense method, you have to follow, you have to recognize total interest at the beginning only. So vendor will record total interest, he will credit total interest in special account interest suspense, and just check second entry, at the end of each year from the interest suspense, small amount will be transferred to interest account, and at the end of the contract, interest suspense account will show nil balance. Is it clear? If you think same situation from buyer's point of view, children, think and then answer. Buyer acquires the asset. So he will record asset at the cash price. What is the cost of the asset? 100. He will record total interest at the beginning. Tell me total interest which buyer will pay over a period of time. This is total interest. He will take the help of interest suspense account 20. So 100 rupees cost, 20 rupees interest. So total amount payable to vendor, higher purchase price 120. Is it clear? So what happened in this case? Total interest we recognized at beginning. At the end of each year from the interest suspense, small amount will be charged to interest account. At the end, interest suspense will show nil balance, and this portion you have to delete. Okay, so interest suspense says a very simple thing. It says that record total interest at the beginning in special account interest suspense account. Slowly and gradually, as per the calculation, transfer interest amount to profit and loss from the interest suspense account. Is it clear? When you will follow this particular method, just check this question number 4. Just check question number 4 in textbook. When it is clearly mentioned, check interest suspense method. When it is clearly mentioned, then only you can follow this method. Otherwise, our normal system you have to follow. So with this, my dear students, I am effectively concluding that 4 parts which I am supposed to cover in hire purchase system, we have covered. Number 1 is what? Just check. Just check. Number one is what? Calculation of interest included in each installment. 5 situations along with the reference we have discussed. Second is what? Accounting in the books of HP vendor, HP buyer, along with the reference we have covered. Accounting in case of goods repossession. So in this case, my dear students, what buyer will do, HP buyer will do, 2 situations, question 11, 12, and what vendor will do, he will prepare goods repossessed account with the help of question number 13. And last part is what? Interest suspense method accounting. You can refer question number 4, and the concept is given in JKSC material. Even we have discussed over here as well. Okay. So if you are JKSC students, all the classwork solutions you have. But if you are non-JKSC students, the concept is clear in your mind and at least you have some stuff with you. Not these sums, but some other sums, but the concept will remain same. Is it clear? So my dear students, I'll say a simple thing. If you study 100 sums of hire purchase, in the exam you will get 101, which is altogether different from this 100. But my dear students, if you study this concept carefully, you can solve 100 sums based on the concept. Is it clear? So it is irrelevant whether you are JKSC student or non-JKSC students, my dear students. This revision is very effective for you and I hope you will give your level best and you will get value out of it. Is it clear? So 4 points are over and with this classwork discussion is done. Just before we move on to homework and past exam reference, I would like to discuss one distinguish between hire purchase and the installment system. Okay, this comes in the exam. You can see on the screen reference question number 20 and question number 31 of past exam. In recent exam, they have asked this distinguish what is the difference between hire purchase and installment system. Okay. Try and understand the difference. Hire purchase and installment all together a different story. Now, if I take a simple example of electronic shop, if you would like to purchase mobile, correct, visit the shop and tell the shopkeeper, please give me the mobile. Shopkeeper will say, please pay the amount. Reply in the answer, I don't have money. I want to take this mobile on hire purchase system. Shopkeeper will deny with the saying that we will not give you mobile on hire purchase system. If you want mobile, we can give you on installment system. Shopkeeper will reply like this, sir, then what is the basic difference between two? My dear students, in case of hire purchase system, what will happen? Possession will be transferred, but ownership will remain with vendor. In case of installment system, ownership as well as possession, both will be given to buyer. Is it clear? Sir, but why in installment system they are transferring the ownership as well without getting entire amount? The reason being, please try and understand the situation. If I give you this mobile and let's take an example, 12 EMI you have to pay, and you know that every 3 or 4 months the technology changes. Yes or no? So you have acquired this mobile, my dear students, correct? And 12 installments you have to pay to me. Yes, agreed. You took the mobile, you took the delivery, you started using the mobile, you paid first installment, you paid second installment, you paid third installment, but in the 4th month, the new technology came in the market. Now what you will do? Now you will not pay any further EMI. Is it clear? Because you are interested in the new technology now. If you will not pay EMI, can I say I will rush to your house and I will say, please come on, pay my EMI. You will say, I will not pay EMI. Take your mobile back. Take your mobile back. Now use your brain and answer, my dear students. Can I say, if I take that mobile, can I say, now I will not get sufficient value for this mobile in the market because technology changed, and number second, this is now used mobile. I will not get good amount from the market. Is it clear? So it is a loss situation for me and I know this effect in advance, and hence what I will say, take the possession, take the ownership as well, and pay 12 EMI on time. If you will not pay EMI, I will not repossess the mobile, rather I will file complaint against you. I will drag you to the court and I will get my money from you. Is it clear? So where installment system is effective, can I say, if you purchase electronic products, there the installment system is effective, because in that case technology changes so fast, and therefore the product value decreases over a period of time. Hence you will not get proper resale value in the market. Therefore no shopkeeper will sell any electronic gadgets on hire purchase system. They will sell on installment system only. They will say, take the asset, take the ownership, pay the EMI. If you will not pay the EMI, I will not repossess the goods, because I don't have that ownership. Ownership is available with you. I will file case against you. Is it clear? And hire purchase system, where it will be effective, where the products are having sellable value in the market. Let's take an example. I have acquired one machine to construct the bridges. Is it clear? So I paid first installment, I paid second installment, but I didn't pay third installment because of lack of fund. So what vendor will do? Vendor will take that machinery back and will sell it to some other person. Can I say, in the market he will find so many builders in the construction field who construct the bridges. He will sell this machine to somebody else and will recover the amount. Is it clear? So that heavy machinery, you will find sellable value in the market, but for mobile, TV, refrigerator, AC, washing machine, you will not find sellable value, and therefore the product having sellable value you will find on hire purchase basis, but the product having no sellable value, outdated technology, you will find it on installment system. So on the screen the entire difference is there. Hire purchase says what? You have Hire Purchase Act 1972, and for installment system you have Sale of Goods Act 1930. It is normal sales. Installment system means what? Normal sales. Okay. Second point is what? Ownership passes when last installment settled, and in case of installment, ownership at the beginning, immediately. Parties. In case of hire purchase system, two parties are there, HP buyer, that is HP customer, and HP vendor. And in case of installment, there are two parties, buyer and seller. Fourth one, goods repossession option is available in case of hire purchase, because ownership is available with the vendor. He can repossess the goods at any point of time. But my dear students, in case of installment system, that repossession option is not available. Why? That repossession option is not available. Why? Because ownership is transferred. And lastly, I have written the example, heavy machinery in case of hire purchase, because you find sellable value, and in case of installment system I have recorded electronic appliances as example. Is it clear? So my dear students, even with this we have completed the difference between hire purchase and installment system. So what we have covered till stage, total 4 points: calculation of interest, accounting in the books of HP, vendor HP buyer, accounting in case of repossession, and accounting in case of interest suspense method. When you will follow interest suspense method, when it is clearly mentioned in the question, even we are clear with the difference between hire purchase and the installment system. So with this, my dear students, if you check, we have discussed all the question of classwork except one question number 9, which is sum based on one simple concept. Here only one point I will discuss, that is, sir, when provision for depreciation account comes, then how we deal with the situation. Simple. Provision for depreciation means what? Accumulated depreciation. Okay, so what happened in this case, whatever depreciation buyer charges, it will not be adjusted against asset, rather it will be accumulated in special account named as provision for depreciation account, and hence your journal entry for depreciation in this case would be depreciation account debit to provision for depreciation account. Is it clear? As simple as that. Simple. In this question number 9, one point is important. You have acquired two assets, tractor A, tractor B. 24 monthly installments are there. I have already mentioned that as and when time passes, your interest amount reduces. Is it clear? But in this question, they are saying interest deemed to accrue evenly over period of agreement. Is it clear? So whatever interest, total interest comes, that will be divided by straight away 24 months because of this assumption which is given in question. Is it clear? Second important point is what? Entry for depreciation, that is depre to provision for depreciation. And the last important point, when to use disposal of tractor account. In this question number 9, if you see tractor B lost by fire. Is it clear? It is given in paragraph. Just check over here. Tractor B completely destroyed by fire. Whenever the asset destroyed by fire, and if you are following provision for depreciation method, then how you will deal with this situation? Simple. Total cost of the asset destroyed, you have to remove from the tractor account and it will be transferred to disposal. Total depreciation charged on asset destroyed, it will be removed from provision for depreciation and it will be transferred to disposal. Okay, now in disposal you will find total cost of the asset destroyed and total depreciation of the asset destroyed. Total cost minus total depreciation, you will get WDV. Against that you will get insurance claim and final profit or loss you can calculate. And in disposal account you will get final profit and loss. Your disposal account is nothing but it is temporary account. It is temporary account. Is it clear? So why it is opened? If some asset sold or asset destroyed is given, if asset sold and asset destroyed is given in question, then asset disposal account you have to open. Is it clear? So with this, all the classwork references I have given for all the 13 question and important points we have discussed. So now just last point of discussion in homework and past exam. So JK Shah classes students, you all must have finished your homework and past exam by the time, but there are few students who have not yet started with the homework and past exam. So for them, quickly just I am giving the references which question is similar in the classwork section. So at least you can have confidence that yes, if my classwork section is good, strong, conceptual clarity is there, then homework and past exam you can handle well. So just check question number 14. In question number 14, my dear students, they have given cash price, they have given rate of interest, and they are saying calculate the interest included in each installment. Now use your brain and tell me. Use your brain and tell me. When the cash price is given and the rate of interest is given, then prepare the table. Is it clear? So here I am writing for your summary, name of the chapter, hire purchase and installment system. Correct. So please check question number, rather on the top just I will write, I am now giving references for homework. Okay. Question number 14. If you check cash price, rate of interest, both is given. So simply you have to prepare the table. So for this you can refer question number 1 of classwork, prepare table. Prepare table. Okay. Next question is question number 15. This question again is very simple. Just check cash price is given 1,50,000. Okay. But the interest rate is not given and they are saying calculate the total interest and interest included in each installment. Use your brain now. When the cash price is given but the rate of interest is not there, what you will do? Find out the total interest and allocate in outstanding balance ratio. Correct. So for question number 15, I am giving reference, refer question 2 and 10 of classwork. Is it clear? Find out total interest and allocating outstanding balance ratio. Outstanding balance ratio. Okay. Question number 16. Dear students, this question number 16 is asked many times in the exam. So, beautiful sum. Again, at the same time, simple one as well. Just check. Lucky bought. Lucky means HP buyer. 2 tractors he acquired. Down payment, installment, interest rate is given. But what is not given? Cash price is not given. So if the cash price is not given but the rate of interest is there. So how to calculate interest included in each installment? Prepare the table and fill table in reverse way. Game over. Depreciation 20%. Lucky will charge 20% depre. Over here what happened? Repossession will happen, my dear students. Clear? At the time of repossession, the vendor will charge his own depreciation 30%. So this 30% help in calculating agreed value and this 20% will help in calculating WDV. Is it clear? So repossession point is there. And my dear students, vendor account lastly settled with the last interest at 18% per annum. But tell me, when the contract entered, at that time the rate of interest was there but the cash price was not there. So what you will do? Prepare the table, fill in reverse way, find out interest included in each installment, start doing accounting. In between default will happen and hence repossession will come. So calculate the cash price. You can refer question number 3 of classwork and prepare the tractor in case of repossession. For this you can refer question number 12 of classwork, that is default and repossession in the same year. So here I can give reference question number 16, question number 3 and question number 12 of classwork you can refer. Correct. Question number 3 for interest calculation, question number 12 for repossession treatment. Next is question number 17 on the screen please. Question number 17, if you check what they have given, X Limited purchase, hire purchase buyer 3 milk van from Super Motors 75,000 each. Now over here depreciation, this depre will be useful for WDV calculation. Now they are repossessing the asset, 30% depreciation will be useful for agreed value calculation. Okay, at the end what they are asking, you are required to give necessary entries. Can I say goods repossession entry? You already know. When the goods repossessed, simple journal entries you have to pass and relevant account in the books of X. Correct. For this you can refer question number 12 of classwork. So here I am giving reference question number 17, refer question 12 of classwork. Question 12 of classwork. Why 12? Because X is buyer and they are asking in the books of HP buyer. I have given you reference for classwork. Now in the past exam, please check. May 16 onwards we have question. Question number 18. What they are asking, please check at the end. Necessary ledger in Girish Transport. Girish Transport is HP buyer for 3 years. Correct. Try and understand. 3 electrical rickshaw they purchase. Interest rate is given 10% per annum. Interest is given 10% per annum. But the cash price is not there. Cash price is not given but the rate of interest is given and some repossession is there. Check adjusting the value of other 2 rickshaw against the amount due and 30% depre they will charge. So 30% depre will be useful for agreed value calculation. Correct. And 20% depre will be useful for WDV calculation. So always whenever goods repossession question comes in the exam, my dear students, find out which rate buyer is using. The rate buyer uses, that will be useful for WDV calculation, and the rate vendor uses at the time of goods repossession, that will be useful for agreed value. Is it clear? Okay, they are asking HP buyer. So question number 12 and question number 1. So question number, now past exam I'll write over here because homework reference is over. Now in past exam we have question number 18. So question number 1 will be useful for interest calculation, correct, and question number 12 will be useful for goods repossession. In HP buyer's book, correct. Question number 19, check on the screen. See, the similar type of sum again came, like question number 16 in homework. They have given rate of interest, but the cash price they have not given. Is it clear? 25% depri, who is charging? HP buyer is charging. Okay, now they failed to pay one of the installment, my dear students. So goods repossession will come, and in case of goods repossession, agreed value calculation will come. So for agreed value you have to consider 40% depreciation. Okay, again they are asking same thing, find out cash price. So tell me, for cash price, when the rate of interest is given but the cash price is not there, when the rate of interest is given but the cash price is not there, follow question 3 of classwork. And they are asking car account, that is HP buyer accounting they are asking. Okay, so in question number 19 I can give reference. Question 3 of classwork will be useful for interest calculation, and question number 12 of classwork will be useful for repossession. Question number 20, just check question number 20. This difference we have already cleared in the classroom, correct. What is the difference between hire purchase and installment? So this is done. Check question number 21. Check question number 21. What they are asking, find out the cash price, pass the journal entry in the books of, see, Codam Enterprise Purchase. So they are hire purchase buyer, under which method? Interest suspense method. Tell me, in case of interest suspense, the total interest will be recognized at the beginning only, and at the end of each year small portion will be transferred to profit and loss. So my dear students, for interest suspense you can refer question number 4, and for cash price calculation, interest rate is given 8% but the cash price is not there. So I can give you reference over here. You can refer question number 3 of classwork for interest calculation, and question number 4 of classwork for interest suspense method. For interest suspense method, this is question number 21, because question number 20 is difference between hire purchase price and installment system. Okay, question number 22, simple sum, just check, rate of interest is given. Rate of interest is given but the cash price is not given, and they are asking calculate the cash price, So tell me, rate of interest is there, cash price is not there. Sir has already given you the entire summary table of 5 situation. Rate is there, cash price is not there. So for question number 2 you can refer question number 3 of classwork, prepare the table, fill in reverse way. Question number 23, again what they are asking, how will Arya Brothers account for interest over 3 years assuming books close? So Arya Brothers, see, car company sold to Arya Brothers, so they are HP buyer. But now what is happening in this case, just check, they have given higher purchase price, they have given down payment and balance in 3 installment. The cash price they have given 40,000. Children, cash price is there but the interest rate is not there. Cash price is there but the interest rate is not there. What you will do? Find out the total interest and allocate in outstanding higher purchase price. So for question number 23, you can refer question number 2 and 10 of classwork. I hope this references are very useful. So if JK Shah classes students are done with the classwork section carefully, effectively they are done with homework and past exam as well. And non-JKSC students, if your concept in this revision lecture is clear, it means even you are ready for this chapter as well. Okay, so question number 23, reference given. Now question number 24 on the screen, please check. Again simple sum. See what they are asking. They are saying find out the cash price. Find out the cash price, because interest rate is given but the cash price is not there. Tell me, interest rate is there but the cash price is not there. Prepare the table, fill in reverse way. I have already given you the table. So for question number 24, question number 3 of classwork you can refer. Then question 25. On the screen, please check question number 25. What they are asking at the end. Prepare the account of Messrs. Singh and Singh goods repossessed account in Power Motor. Power Motor is HP vendor in this case. Children, here repossession concept is there, and in repossession they are asking to do accounting in the books of HP vendor. Tell me, we have already discussed how to prepare goods repossessed account, and this question was asked in May 2013. So you can refer for question number 25, question 13 of classwork. This is repossession. This is repossession in HP vendor. Okay, question number 26. See, again similar type of sum came. In homework, we solved question number 16. Then question number 19 of past exam. And now this similar type of sum again. What they have given, rate of interest is 10% they have given, but the cash price is not there. They are asking find out the cash price. Is it clear? So if the cash price is there but the rate of interest is not there, question number 3 of classwork. Okay, they are saying prepare Scooter and Bhanu account in Amar's book and goods repossessed account in Bhanu's book. Amar is HP buyer and Bhanu is HP vendor. My dear students, this sum is beautiful. If you solve this sum, then entire goods repossession concept will get over. Okay, because here what entry will pass HP buyer and what entry HP vendor will pass for the goods repossession, that you will come to know. Even the calculation of interest included in each installment. So for question number 26, which I am marking important, that is good one, you can refer question number 3, question number 12, question number 13 of classwork. Is it clear? So whole repossession concept will get over if you refer question 26. Just check question number 27. Lina Transport Limited. At the end, what they are asking, check show necessary account in the books of Lina Transport only. Lina Transport purchased. So again HP buyer accounting you have to do, and again repossession is there in this sum. In case of repossession, please find out. See, interest rate is there. It's okay. Depreciation is 10%. So this rate will be useful for WDV calculation. When vendor repossess the goods, then vendor will consider 15% depreciation. This will be useful to calculate agreed value. Is it clear? I have given you 5 steps in repossession. You know that agreed value, WDV, loss, if default in current year, repossession in next year, then provision entry, and if default and repossession same year, so no provision entry, and finally repossession entry. So my dear students, HP buyer, for question number 27, you can refer question 11 and 12 of classwork. This is repossession in HP buyer. This is repossession in HP buyer. Question number 28. Question number 28, if you check interest suspense account, when you will follow interest suspense method, when it is clearly mentioned in the question that please prepare an interest suspense account, then only you have to follow this particular method. And my dear students, here cash price is given, interest is given, cash price and interest both is given. So can I say here you will follow question number 1 of classwork, question number 4 of classwork. Is that clear? Okay, when the cash price is given, rate of interest is given, prepare the table, fill in normal way, and for interest suspense, question 4. So question number 28, question 1 and question 4 of classwork. Question 29. Question 29. What they are asking, prepare tractor account and interest suspense account. Can I say similar to question number 28? Similar to question 28, cash price they have given, rate of interest they have given, correct. So here I am writing question 29, similar to question 28 of past exam. Question number 30, recently in November 2020 exam, it was asked for 8 marks, and in the same exam 4 marks theory they asked for hire purchase and installment system difference, which we have already cleared. Okay, so you can understand in the recent attempt they have asked it for 12 marks this particular chapter. So the weightage is good and the chapter is simple. If you revise in this order, then you can easily score the marks. Just question number 13 reference I'll give you. Children, beautiful sum. How to calculate agreed value? You already know, based on the vendor's depreciation rate, book value based on the buyer's depreciation rate, loss always WDV minus agreed value, and profit or loss on repossession sold by vendor. When you will prepare goods repossessed account, if you remember my example, 90 rupees goods resold at 110, so 20 rupees is profit, that you have to calculate. So this first 3 parts you can get it from question number 12 of classwork, and profit on repossession from the point of view of vendor you will get it from question 13 of classwork. So for question number 30 you can refer question 12 and question 13 of classwork. Is it clear? So with this, my dear students, we have finished the whole hire purchase chapter. 4 parts you have to study well. Calculation of interest included in each installment. Number 2, accounting in the books of HP vendor and buyer. 3rd, repossession accounting. 4th, interest suspense accounting, provided the instruction is given in question. Difference between hire purchase and installment system, that is clear. I have given you all the important markings in question in JKSC classwork question, and in homework and past exam I have given you the reference of classwork questions. So with this, the revision of hire purchase chapter is over, and I hope you will give your level best and you will get something out of it and you will clear with the flying colors. Thank you so very much.